Zoom. So first we'll have the mayor's report, please. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you, Council Vice President Rebelowski. Good evening, council members. So I've got some neat things to share with you tonight, and we're going to get right to it. First up, I have invited our state champions from Bremerton High School, and we're going to lead off. Each one of them I'm going to bring up into as an individual group, but we're going to lead off with our 2A state basketball boys champion and the coach, Maya Davis. We're going to, if I could, ask you to come up here to the podium, kind of get around here. And team, come on up. And really, myself, you, and the public wants to hear from them. So I'm going to turn this over to Coach Davis. But first, I do want to award Coach for you, and I know you're accepting this on behalf of the team. This is a key to the city for your achievements. So. Oh, you're a coach.
No, I appreciate Mayor Wheeler and city council members. Today is just a great opportunity to shine light on who Bremerton really is. We got all of our coaches are born and raised in Bremerton. So that speaks volume of the heart of the city that we wear on our sleeves. And then, you know, just the fact that we can represent blue and gold, even though it was, you know, black and white back in the day, and they merged together. But the fact that it happened 51 years later, and our final score was 74, which is last year they won it. It speaks volume of, you know, history always repeats itself. And I think going back to the history of Bremerton, this is where it all started. It didn't start in Silverdale, it didn't start in Port Orchard, didn't start in Paulsville. Everybody came to Bremerton. And for this championship to come circle back, it means a lot for me as Bremertonian. I bleed blue and gold wherever I walk and talk. I speak volume about our city, not being the armpit, but being the strength of our surrounding cities in Kitsap County. So I appreciate this moment within the city of accepting this key. I don't know what I can go into, but I'm gonna try to walk in every door I can. But mentally, it's an honor to have and to hold, and it'll forever be embedded in my heart that I'm finally accepted in sentimental ways into the city. I'm gonna have one of our seniors holding the trophy say some words. Frank Allen.
Thank you for the opportunity you guys given us. We want to thank the community, you know, building support around Bremerton. You know, I don't think we could have done it without the support and the love. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you too. This team is awesome. It was really built on the community of Bremerton, and like even at at state, we were all looking at our jerseys, looking at the name across our chest, and looking at and thinking about people that had traveled all the way to Yakima, which is crazy. Like we had so many people there, and yeah, I think on behalf of my whole team, we are super thankful for Bremerton. Thank you.
I didn't do this when I had my interview after the state game, but I want to speak after the great second best player in the world, LeBron James. Bremerton, this is for you.
Would y'all like to come up and have a picture taken in front of the?
In the middle.
Oh, in the front. I got you. Can I stand next to the trophy?
Do we go in the front or
Well,
They're tall.
You need to go around. Okay.
Okay.
They're very tall. They're just as bad as home. You're small enough. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to get it. There. Maya, can you sit in? Okay, ready? Everybody cheese. Cheese. There you go. Hold up number one. Then how do we do that next year? Hold up. Two, three.
Every week. No, I want more singing. I want more singing.
would be good.
Or I need an orchestra.
I want a pyramid.
All right. Well, thank you, but we are not done yet. Next up, we have the two-time defending state champions in cheerleading. We have the Bremerton High School Knights, two-time defending state champs, cheer squad. So I want to bring them up here. And so it's going to be the same. You want to hear from the coach and a few players, and I'm going to turn it over to them right now. But one thing I want to do is I do also want to hand you a key to the city, Coach. So congratulations. All right.
Different. My name's Jen Owens. I'm the head cheer coach at Bremerton. I've been with the program for 4 years now, and the program's grown substantially since the time that I started. I mean, we were picking up from COVID loss also, but we had a huge group of freshmen, my freshman year, as I call it. They are now seniors. So a couple of them are here with us today, and they're going to share some of the spectacular moments from our seasons and all of our wins. But I hope that everyone has had the opportunity to see them at maybe a football game or a basketball game. If not, I definitely recommend coming out. The kids bleed blue and gold, and they get into it just as much as the players. Every win or loss, they feel it. And I'm just really proud of all their time that they put in. It's a year-long sport. And so they're stuck with me for quite some time, but they all fight through, and they have such great spirits and sportsmanship. And so right now I'm going to turn it over to two of our senior captains.
Hello, I am Lilia Stodden. And I'm Claudia Kibbe. And we are both captains of the cheer team and have cheered for all 4 years of our high school. This has been an amazing year, and last year also, we have worked really hard, and it's been so amazing to just even have the opportunity to go compete. After winning state last year, going into this year, I was really worried, like, oh no, I peaked in my junior year, it's gonna be the best we did. But after seeing our team, like at the start of the season, I knew we had the potential to go all the way. But we did have to overcome a lot of challenges throughout the year. They raised the qualifying score for competing, and we also added a second category. We competed game day, which we also qualified for state our first year and competed at state. Yeah, we've never competed game day before in Bremerton history, so it was really cool to be able to be a part of making history at our school on the cheer team. And it was really cool to be able to compete that at state along with the other one, and being involved in 2 different competition teams. That made it all a little bit more difficult because practice time had to be split in half. So we do traditional for this part of practice and then our game day routine for the other, which just made us all have to work a little bit harder.
Yeah, and I think the reason that we've had so much success is our determination, everyone coming to practice every day,
fully committed and ready to work and like run through the routine over and over again. And I think another big part of our success is the skills that our coaches have, including our head coach, Jen Owens, and our assistant coach,
Carly Whitlock, and also Josh.
And they really know how to like look at the score and are really just like diligent and look even like outside of practice, always trying to, help us succeed. So
Amazing coaches. We're so grateful.
and amazing players, or not players, teammates.
Yes.
So
It's been an amazing year, both last year and this year. And although we won't be here next year, we're so excited to see how the team competes next year, and we wish them the best.
and we wish the boys basketball team the best next year too.
Yeah. Jen, can you take that out of the, yeah. That one's not as heavy as the last. Which one you want? Can you ladies take 3 steps back? Uno, dos, tres. There you go. And you back up too. You're gonna back up too, Mr. Mayor. There you go. I almost got it. Okay, ready? Cheese. I still have the podium. I'm trying to go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Thank you.
All right, this is exciting. Again, my hat's off to our Bremerton High School. It is a school of champions, and I really appreciate all of this work that you've all put in. Coaches, mentors, teachers, everybody involved with the athletic programs, part of the student athlete experience, and of course, last but certainly not least, the athletes themselves. So just thank you so much. So next up, now we're gonna veer off a little bit, but this one's maybe a little bit of a surprise for you. But I would like to invite Lynn Horton to come up and make an announcement. Mayor Horton. The title doesn't go away just because she's been out a little bit. So.
Thank you. Council members, I am this year's chair of the Bremerton Arts Commission. And I'm thrilled to present to you a present, if you will. Last October, the Bremerton Arts Commission, the West Sound Arts Council, and Olympic College hosted its second annual Fall for the Arts Gala and auction. And with the proceeds from last year's auction, the West Sound Arts Council has purchased 2 pieces of art from the Collective Visions juried show. And we are presenting it to you this evening as a gift to, as our collection, the City of Bremerton's collection of public art. With me today are Andrea Williams, who is our Arts Commission liaison, and Cynthia Davis, who is the president of the West Sound Arts Council. And they are going to be our Vannas tonight to show you the pieces of art that we purchased. And by the way, I want to make very clear that none of this money, none of this art was paid for by any tax dollars. So that's really important to know. The first piece is The first piece is entitled Cherries with a Banana and Pomegranate, and it was done by Stephen Powell Smith. The second piece of art is Blue Moment by a artist member of Collective Visions Gallery, Rose Castuello. So this art will work with the administration and find appropriate places to house this art. It is the first, I think, internal art that has been secured for a number of years. I know there's been internal art when buildings have been either renovated or purchased. So this is really exciting. And I think maybe a first for the city of Bremerton. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that. And we're looking forward to working together to find some very nice locations in the city. So thank you. All right, now we're going to get on to a few slides before I close out with another introduction. Now this one here, just to get you some, you viewing public, members of the audience, just a quick update on the diversity of our city. This right here, as you can see, 30,000 seedlings recently planted. And a lot of folks do not realize that we have a tree forest program of this magnitude. And it just, the bullets explain why we do it. Replenishes an area that was harvested for forest health reasons. Sometimes it's to take care of some toxic growth there. Sometimes it's just dead growth. But this is structured, it's by design, and the replacement occurs on an annual basis. And it's monitored by our forestry staff. This is just some of the work our staff does. Next slide. All right, Quincy Square update. Look at that beautiful picture. So as you all know, the construction's underway. And you can see what's going on as far as construction around our sidewalks. I'll give a briefing on that, this next slide. 4th Street's still accessible. I want to emphasize that we are still open for business. Those businesses down there still need customers. They want everybody to know they are open, and we're working hard to maintain accessibility for them. And this is coming soon, so look for July, early July, first part of July for the ribbon cutting. Next slide, please. And this goes into a little bit more detail. I thought it was important to show this. It's not a flowery graph, but it's important for folks with mobility impairment or need ADA assistance. And so it just shows where our main closure is occurring, Pacific and 4th Street. And it's for 3 to 4 weeks, and it gives you some detours for folks to get around our downtown. And this map's on our website, but I wanted to share this is available and for our folks to know that we are looking out and do care about how everybody gets around downtown. Next slide. All right, this is a neat project we've been working on. This originated from Kitsap Regional Coordinating Council this is a collaboration between all of our jurisdictions. The city of Paulsbo took the lead, proposed the idea to the board of jurisdictions, Bremerton being one of them. We all jumped in and then provided all the resources necessary equally to get to this point. So we're going to go through these pretty quick. 480 square foot studio. There's some, next slide. This one, 600 square foot. I mean, look at this. These are pre-approved plans that will be eligible for folks to access once we have this program fully vetted, completed, and ready for the public to use. This is just what you're going to have in 2025 available. Next slide. Just another one, 800 square foot, 2-bedroom. And of course, these are dependent on the lot size, configuration and size of the lot. Next slide. Yeah. And there's, let's see, that was number 4. Hans, do we have any? That was the last one for tonight. So, and thank you, Hans. I'm going to close out the meeting. We had an extensive process to hire a very important position in our city. And my gosh, I am happy that we were so thorough and deliberate, and we knew exactly what we were looking for, and we have achieved success. So I am here today to introduce to the council. You've already met Dr. Briggs, but the rest of the viewing audience and of course the everybody on TV gets to meet our new Diversity and Community Engagement Manager, Dr. Janice Briggs. And I'm going to have Dr. Briggs come on up and just say hello.
Good evening, everyone, council members, those who are joining us in the virtual world, and fellow citizens. I am thrilled to be here. I'm really excited. This is my second week here, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone internally as well as externally. So excited for a future generation and all the things that you're doing. Congratulations. And I'm here to answer any questions, any comments, any concerns, but I'm looking forward to working with everyone in the coming weeks. Thank you.
All right, thank you, council. That concludes tonight's report.
So we're gonna move forward with the rest of the council meeting, but feel free to leave. And I'm really glad y'all came tonight. We're really proud of you. I know. Okay, now we're gonna go to the consent agenda, please.
Thank you, Vice President Rebalowski. For approval on the consent agenda are the following items. Item A, claims and check register. Approval of the following checks and electronic funds transfers. Check numbers 410286 through 410441 and EFT numbers V43042 through V43160 in the grand total amount of $3,382,731.88. Number 2, regular payroll for pay period ending February 28th, 2025 in the amount of $1,082,633.35. Number 3, regular payroll correction for pay period ending February 28th, 2025 in the amount of $948.10. Item B, minutes of City Council meeting, March 5th, 2025. Item C, minutes of study session, March 12th, 2025. Item D, confirm reappointment of Vanessa Asherto to the Bremerton Kitsap Access Television Citizens Advisory Board. Item E, approve purchase of Q's sewer/storm camera van. Item F, subgrant agreement through the Association of Washington Cities Energy Audit Grant Program for Clean Building Performance Standards Energy Audits. Item G, professional services agreement with the Consor North America, Inc. for manganese treatment facilities on the east side, final design. This concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
If any member of the public wishes to speak to any of the consent agenda items, we only ask that you state your name for the record and please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Does any member of the public wish to comment on the consent agenda items? Seeing none, we will go to the council for a motion.
Move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussions, I will call the question.
Councilmember Fry? I'm sorry, I thought she was online.
Yeah.
Councilmember Goodnow?
Yes.
Councilmember Mochler?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain?
Yes.
And Council Vice President Roblowski?
Yes.
And correction for that, Councilmember Fry online?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Next up is public recognition. As indicated on the agenda, public recognition provides an opportunity for attendees to address the council on any issue not already on tonight's agenda. This is not interactive, and the council is here to listen to your concerns and questions. There will be no public comments accepted via Zoom unless prior arrangements were made through the city clerk by calling 360-473-5323 at least 24 hours prior to the meeting. Were there any requests?
Joe Gilbert, please raise your hand if you're present.
We'll go with somebody in the audience first, please. Again, we ask that you state your name for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, and a timer system will be used so that everyone is treated fairly. With that, I open up public recognition.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jocelyn. I'm with the Bremerton Prayer Walk and Rock the Block. I'm just here to, what an incredible night to be here on a night that B-Town High School has such great recognition. And at the same time, I'm reminded of 3 people on the streets, 3 high school seniors that don't get the same recognition nor the same support from the city. And that's really a travesty that we've got individuals that are not getting that same support. And my heart just kind of breaks. This past week, we had an individual pass away, which should not have passed away. Had she been around more people, we might have been able to save her life. And she was a beautiful human. She was one of my most favorite people that I get to pray with on the streets. And so that's a real unfortunate thing that's happening right now. One of the things that has continued to happen is we see the Bremerton Police Department, and I'm so grateful of some of the work that they had been doing down there, getting some of the drugs off the street. So please do not hear that I am in any way shaming them, because what they did was really important this past week. But the fact remains that they also go down there and they push people away. And it prevents us from getting them. We have individuals on the streets not only dying now, but we have individuals losing limbs. We have people with toes. I saw one this past Sunday. This individual came back from the hospital. He went in to get help and he was sent back out on the streets with his limbs exposed. The rain happened and there was nothing he could do. There was absolutely no coverage allowed. So he wasn't able to even get out of the rain. So his feet just continued to deteriorate. We're seeing like long time lasting effects happening to individuals, and it should not be happening. We don't have enough resources for them right now. I know the city council is working hard. I know private organizations are working really hard. I'm working with them. I know that there is a lot of work being done to handle this situation and this problem, but the fact remains is that there's not anything right now. And so right now we really need to err on the side of human compassion. We need to err on the side of human life. We really need to wait until more resources are available to have this amped up escalation of enforcement of a anti-camping ordinance, which is really driving people away from us getting help. There's only one spot for individuals to get help down on the streets. That's down by the Salvation Army. That's literally where all of the resources is. Individuals from Kitsap County and other places come in specifically in order to get help down there.
30 seconds.
And I would just really encourage this council to take a position that we're going to look for just intermediate resources in order to keep individuals alive, to keep until we have the more stable resources available for them. Let's err on the side of compassion. We got a great city here, and let's just continue doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, everybody. Travis from Bremerton. Exciting time. 6th Street is coming before council again soon. As you may be aware, the city's seeking a contract modification and more money. And the main thing, one of the major powers that city council has is to decide what money goes where. And so they need additional money to finish up the design. So it's a great opportunity to take a hard look at that design and make sure the Public Works is doing what we hope it will with that project. So the contours of the debate are very familiar. The advocates and the citizens, the people who live here and vote here, sending their kids here to schools here. We want safer streets. We want the street to be a safe environment for people walking and biking and getting to school. There's 5 schools on the street, and the homeless center is on the street. And that's very simple. We need a protected bike lane. We need safer intersections, including shorter crosswalks, and we need speed reductions on that street. Things on the street that slow down the cars. What Public Works is pushing for is not that. Instead, it is a design that keeps the street as an arterial for cars. Doesn't matter that 11th and Burwell are arterials for cars. They need 6th to be as well. The main sticking point is space. The current plan, the only plan that the city has put forth, takes the street from 4 lanes to 3 lanes, right? Which is great, creates a little bit more space, but that really only creates about 10.5 feet, which is not enough even for a regulation unprotected bike lane, much less the kind of design that would slow down the cars and make people feel safe, right? The city engineer said he doesn't expect the resulting bike lane even to be safe for students biking to school. I think that's unacceptable. I think we'll show up and we'll send you guys emails and proving that's unacceptable. The request is when they go for this contract modification, instead of one design that's built for the cars, keeping them moving fast, let's have 2 designs. One that they're pushing and one that would be a little closer to our vision, right? Which would slow down the street, which would be safe for the people who actually live here and aren't only concerned about the street during afternoon rush, right? The city can work for everybody, but critical to that plan is making 6th Street safer. Please, when this contract comes back up, require Public Works to make a second plan, one that's much safer. And then at the end, then we can debate and may the best plan win. Thank you.
Can we double check the timers? Because I was looking and it didn't go into yellow until it was way past the 30-second mark.
Should be set at 30 seconds.
Okay. So is the online person available yet?
I don't see Joe Gilbert. Joe Gilbert, if you called in by phone, please press *9 to raise your hand.
Okay, are there any members of the audience who would like to come up and talk?
I'm Jose Camacho for myself and Friends of Smith Cove. I'm currently trying to act as a counter to the city's de facto policy of deceit and omissions and manipulating the public as to information, legal information that should be freely given to citizens. So I did a Public Record Act request to Olympic College. And they responded by disclosing that the Evergreen Point project had a different iteration as to them during the year 2019. And at that point, it was a 4-story, 2-building development worth $42 million. You can see Soundwest Group desperately trying to seal the deal by December 31 of 2019. They didn't make it. So we know that the other story, the EP iteration currently at 6 stories, and is valued per Soundwest Group's advertisement as $57 million. So it jumped from $42 million to $57 million. The way the city helped Soundwest Group do that is by violating and skewing the law as to the Shoreline Master Program. And the Shoreline Master Program, basically right now under DCD's assiduous efforts, has in it as Trojan horses law that is actually void because it actually violates state law. The city does not have discretion to do what it pleases against state law. As to Soundwest Group, specifically Map E, which is about the EP project, it's a special favor, it's spot zoning, it violates the Shoreline Management Act and its progeny, the Shoreline Master Program, so badly, it's irrecognizable as anything that belongs in a city code. And it actually goes on beyond that. But you have the original iteration, 42 million, the current iteration, still pending supposedly, at 57 million. It took DCD's efforts to do that when the city engages in increasing the profits of a private interest. There's a name for that. One of them is racketeering. This is illegal. That's what the Evergreen Point project is about. It's rigged, and it's being carried into the comp plan by not only that Map E, but other provisions. It's a really bad, corrupt effort on the part of the city, DCD specifically. Head should roll. Andrea Spencer should be fired.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak?
I'm short. But I come packed, so be careful. Okay, hi, everybody. My name is Carolyn Stein, and I am with the Washington State Science and Engineering Fair. Our 68th annual in Bremerton, Washington State Science and Engineering Fair is March 28 and 29 next week, next Friday and Saturday. And we are here to invite everyone to please come and partake. It's free to the public. We can always use more judges, especially this year. What a wonderful problem to have. Our registration closed March 15th, as it always does, but we were shocked. There's just a few of us that really put this on, and we had 200 additional students sign up that we were not aware we're going to do that. We have 800 students coming. Now that means that with them come their teachers, their parents, their mentors, and the public. We have 500 to 600 judges. They're still signing up. Thank you. Sign up to judge. And so our overall participation this year, we're looking at about 3,000 people for 2 days to go through that school. Does that sound crowded? No, it sounds exciting. You should come and see why. I'm telling you right now, there is, Turner Joy will be there with hands-on activities. The Tacoma Astronomical Society will be there with a gravity well. Kitsap Creates coming with a smoke cannon. I'm going to have to really work about that, but a smoke cannon, come see what air can actually do. And it is exciting. And what that means is of all those people that are coming, we estimate that 93.5% will come from outside Bremerton and Kitsap County. They will travel to our area. They are filling our hotels, thankfully. They're going to eat at our restaurants. They're going to enjoy all the amenities that we have here, which is wonderful in our area. This is my hometown. I brag about it a lot. I wear the B. It goes everywhere with me. But Bremerton is also on a lot of other things. This is an insulated bag that each of our students, excuse me, not our students, no, judges will get this. And it's an insulated zippered bag. And you'll look that there's logo on it with our logo, but underneath it says Bremerton. Everything that we do, everything that we print, everything that we develop and go forward with has Bremerton in it. We take you with us. So I'm going to tell you right now in my last few seconds that I just got a call from a private school. They're coming all the way from Richland, the entire private school. They don't have a science project this year, but they're coming for 3 days because they want to explore our area. And they asked for all the kinds of good things that we can do. And you can bet your bottom dollar I gave them everything we had. So come to the fair, March 28 and 29. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the audience who would like to talk? And our online person isn't available either? Okay, I now close public recognition.
Our first item of general business is item A. It's going to be overview of the 2024 Comprehensive Plan City Services Element presented by Garrett Jackson.
Since this is information only item, the council will be accepting public comment and no action will be taken tonight.
All right, good evening, City Council. We are here to review the last element of the comprehensive plan in our series. Starting in April, the City Council will start beginning the review of the entirety of the comprehensive plan. Also in April, the Planning Commission will be making a recommendation to the City Council. So anyone's interested in that, our Planning Commission and City Council dates are posted on bremerton2044.com. Okay. We start each one of these with a review just of the comprehensive audience and folks at home understand what it entails, and which starts with the very basics of what a comprehensive plan is. And essentially, it's the 20-year development plan for the city, and that deals with everything from housing to the environment, transportation, city services, and others. Our local comprehensive plan has several layers of jurisdictional authority that we need to comply with, starting with Washington State and the Growth Management Act. Staff work very closely with the Department of Commerce to ensure that our local comprehensive plan meets state standards of the GMA. And then the Puget Sound Regional Council, which is a regional planning body that consists of Kitsap, King, Snohomish, and Pierce County, and their guiding document Vision 2050, which also contains a series of goals and policies that our local comprehensive plan needs to comply with. The Kitsap Regional Coordinating Council, or KRCC, that's all the jurisdictions in Kitsap County, also puts out a regulatory document called the Countywide Planning Policies, which our local comp plan must also comply with. The comprehensive plan exercise is to ensure that we have enough capacity as a city to absorb forecasted populations and jobs out to the year 2044. Our population is due to increase to just under 64,000 people and about 58,000 jobs. Bremerton is regionally significant. So the Puget Sound Regional Council has designated Bremerton as a metropolitan city. The only others of those in Puget Sound are Bellevue, Tacoma, Seattle, and Everett. And then we have two regional growth centers that are of significance to our region also, a manufacturing center out by the Bremerton Airport, and then downtown is a downtown regional center So both of these areas are designated as important to regionally absorbing population and employment growth in the future. Here is an illustration of our growth strategy for the comprehensive plan. Everything that you'll see up here on the screen that has some color to it represents an area that is designated to have some sort of development standard or density increase with this comp plan update. Most of that is centralized in our downtown sub-area plan. And we also have these black dash circles that you'll see up here on the screen, and those represent either existing or future high capacity transit, which would be a service that's provided by Kitsap Transit once that's funded and constructed in the future. If you miss any of these presentations, each one of them is provided on our website, bremerton2044.com, including draft documents that we have. Every public comment that we've received is posted on bremerton2044.com, so you can always catch up by visiting our webpage. This is just a very short review of the items that Council has reviewed to date for the comprehensive plan. Last month was transportation, and as I said, in April, the City Council should be seeing the full comprehensive plan. But tonight, to the point, we've gotten to the city services element of the comp plan. So the vision of the city services for Bremerton is that the city would strive to deliver exemplary municipal services to our community when and where it is needed. Individual goals and policies supporting that vision are also incorporated in our city services section. There's a copy of that on bremerton2044.com. What are those city services? There are several, and many of them have their own individual long-range plans that the City Council has either approved or in the process of approving. Our drinking water plan was reviewed and approved by the City Council previously. Our wastewater plan is in its current update status. Stormwater has already been reviewed and approved by the City Council. Police Department and Fire Department. Parks Department has a long-range pros document that's just this year going to start its update process. So anyone interested in that Parks long-range plan, please stay informed. Transportation, we're currently updating our transportation element, and separated from that is our active transportation plan, which deals with bicycles and pedestrians, and that will be a plan that is reviewed after the comprehensive plan is adopted. So any members of the public interested in those bikes and peds, please stay informed with Public Works on that future active transportation plan. Schools in Bremerton, we have primarily the Bremerton School District, but we also have the Central Kitsap and South Kitsap school districts. Puget Sound Energy is our electricity provider, Cascade Natural Gas, our natural gas provider, and we have several telecommunication companies like Comcast or the Kitsap Public Utility District. So service areas for each one of these services can vary. You'll see up here a map of the Kitsap County adopted urban growth areas. So in yellow, you'll see our incorporated city limits. And in purple, you'll see our existing urban growth areas. And then in orange, you'll see the urban growth areas that were adopted by Kitsap County with their comprehensive plan update in December. And that includes the largest area there in orange, the Central Kitsap urban growth area that has always existed, but is now associated to the city of Bremerton. And then some other areas you'll see in orange that were previously sewered that are being added in, city-owned properties, and a couple of property owner requests. Drinking water isn't considered necessarily an urban service, so their service area can vary outside of city limits and outside of our urban growth area. But wastewater is considered an exclusively urban service, and so it is relegated to areas in the city that are incorporated or are urban growth areas. So it can vary wildly dependent upon the service. Maybe we have an interlocal agreement with other jurisdictions on what those service areas are. Each service also has, each city service, a level of service. Level of service dictates what our standards will be for individual services. For fire and emergency services, they have an LOS of 6 minutes for response time. When you call in for emergency services, you should be receiving those services within the 6-minute time frame. We're currently meeting that most of the time. Law enforcement services, we have an LOS of 1.8 officers per 1,000. Right now, we're sitting at about 1.4 officers and about 250 square feet per officer, which we're running at a deficit of approximately 4,000 square feet at this moment in time. For our parks division, that level of service is identified in our Parks and Recreation Open Space Plan, which I mentioned earlier, and they have an adopted 10-minute walk campaign that's set by the National Recreation and Parks Association. So you should be able to walk to a park within a 10-minute walk. Streets and transportation, we have from a scale of A to F, we have a minimum level of service for street roadways for vehicles of level of service E. For WashDOT designated highways of statewide significance, we have a level of service of D. And we have a multimodal level of service that's defined in our transportation element attachment F, if anyone is searching for that. Wastewater, we have a level of service where the city-owned municipal sewers, and the city council pointed out last week that this level of service might be a little open-ended. And so we worked with the city engineer on what a level of service might be that is a little more measurable and came up with this for the city council to consider. And that's to manage the city-owned municipal sewer system in compliance with the requirements of the city's National Pollution Discharge Elimination System, which the NPDES permit, which establishes requirements for collection and treatment of the city's wastewater discharge. This is a little more measurable than our more open-ended level of service presented last week. It also points to a document that citizens can actually look at, and if they're interested in finding out more about that level of service and how we need to meet those requirements. It's also similar to our stormwater management level of service, which is also based off of a permit, the Western Washington Phase 2 Municipal Stormwater Permit that we need to stay in compliance with, and that any new development would be required to meet our city stormwater management code. Once again, both of those measurable, citizens can look those up. And water. 150 gallons per equivalent residential unit, or ERU, for average daily demand, and 300 gallons per ERU for peak daily demand. That's adopted in our water system plan. And public buildings, we have future planning of about 1,600 square feet of public building per 1,000 population. Now, even projected out to the year 2044, the amount of public building space that we currently have would amply meet that level of service. Oh, and it does not include square footage for the police department, which is a separate consideration. Each one of these services also has a capital facilities plan that designates how, which improvements need to be made and how to pay for those. It inventories existing capital facilities, forecasts future capital facilities, proposed locations and capacities of those new capital facilities, and each one is required to have a 6-year capital facility plan per GMA. If citizens at home or in the audience are interested, we have our 2025 construction projects. We have a map of that posted here in the presentation, and that's also on the city webpage if you're interested in what capital facilities will be happening in 2025. More ways to participate. So there's this comprehensive plan process that we're discussing here tonight. And then there's also the wastewater comprehensive plan, which is a separate planning process. They have an open public comment period that ends on March 29th. We have the contact information here for Bill Davis, who's the project manager. And there's the project website is available on the city webpage. Once again, our Parks and Recreation Open Space Plan, there's a public survey available through April 30th. If you'd like to start in that process of updating that pros plan and provide feedback, this is the first foray into that. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Jose Camacho, Brenda Smith Cove, Rock the Block. Omissions are important, especially when you're supposed to be the expert. First omission, no mention of public toilets, when the reality of homeless people, that population increasing is a fact. So to not have public toilets for these people, and I include myself in that demographic because I've been homeless. I know what it is. So that's the mayor's policy. The other omission is if you look at the comprehensive plan and the various presentations over time, it is almost as if the Shoreline Management Act didn't exist. It's amazing because this is law. It is state law. For a municipality of this size, that's actually disgraceful. Look at it. I encourage you to look at it. It's not there. If it's there, it's extremely brief. You will find one presentation that says, we already did the work. We don't need to go back to Shoreline Master Program. Evergreen Point Project, it is, that area has a recreation designation, which means ecological stewardship, recreation, and open space. All are supposed to be factored in. That should be cited whenever anything in that area is done by the city, especially DCD. Well, they erased it because it doesn't jive with DCD's servility to fat cat developers like Southwest Group. So DCD came up with these gimmicks from 2019 to 2021. Hearings were done. They are empty ceremony hearings because the omissions of those hearings, encouraging City Council and the Planning Commission to adopt these proposals by DCD, omitted that they were violating state law. It's pretty incredible that they would ask you to do that, but that's because it's unconscionable. They are hiding that fact. So Evergreen Point has a 35-foot height limit for development because of that recreational designation. It was created in Ordinance 5229, 2013. DCD concocted this whole scheme to erase that. So that actually is a city unit destroying the open space, the recreation mandate that this city has from state law on down. They want to erase the Shoreline Management Act when that acts as a barrier to the profits of fat cat developers like Southwest Group. It's corrupt, it's wrong, it's actually illegal, it creates void statutes.
Just a brief comment. The city has a legally adopted shoreline master program that was reviewed by our ecological partners, including and approved by the Department of Ecology, who's the authority on the subject. The project that was referenced was reviewed for compliance with the shoreline master program and the downtown sub-area plan and found to be compliant. If anyone has any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them offline or whatever venue may be convenient. Thank you.
Is there any other member of the public who would like to comment? I'm going to close the public comment period. Okay, next up, council reports. This is an opportunity for council members to provide an update on any issues or events taking place in their district, announce any events they've recently attended or plan to attend, and speak on any other city-related topic. Since this is the last meeting of the month, we will start with District 4, Councilmember Anna Mockler. District 6, I'm sorry.
I am starting my timer because I just really have to get better about this. All right. I first want to talk about the science fair. I have judged it multiple times and I cannot tell you it is extremely major fun. And that was before there was this good swag. The last year that I judged really gave me hope for this country. There were so many people, like young kids, well, they're all young kids by me, from the dry side who were like actively working in agriculture, like they were out in the fields and their projects were full of social justice and the importance of getting food to people. And they were fired up and excited about ways that they could do this. There was a 6-foot-tall woman dressed entirely in white fencing, that costume that fencers wear. It was just, it was so much more wildly diverse. And as an ecologist, the more diverse, the more resilient. You gotta like it. So I'm out of town for this. If anybody wants to sign up to be a judge, I assure you, you will have a majorly good time. And if you don't, just go check out the exhibits. Get a shot of hope. Okay. Slide 1, please, Hans, Mr. Nelson. So I have these monthly town halls. The next one is April 14th. April being National Poetry Month, there will be poetry. You can count on it. There's no particular theme for the April 14th. It's just what council has been up to. What questions do you have? Next slide, please. Excellent. So 2 weeks ago, the mayor showed some really beautiful infrastructure work being done in our poor dear Lulu Haddon Park. And it looked gorgeous. However, this chain link fence, next slide, please. This chain link fence is what the neighborhood sees. The neighborhood has been locked out of this park for months and months and months. Immediately at the center of the photograph is where the playground will go. That's where the playground used to be. That was removed in October 2022. The only answer I have gotten on this is that the bathroom still has to be fabricated. The playground still has to be fabricated. This has been closed to the public since last fall. Am I correct on that, Mr. Hauschel? Okay. And it's really the only place that our community has to gather. So this is the other side of the picture, and I'm just showing it to you. For the rest of it, I'm going to give my colleagues a little shot of pleasure by ending early. Let me just say, Slava Ukraini!
Okay, next is District 5, Councilmember Michael Goodnow.
Well, if you've got any pleasure in that, I've got nothing to report.
Okay. District 3, Councilmember Jeff Coughlin wasn't able to join us tonight. But District 2, Councilmember Denise Fry, are you available for a report?
Thank you, Vice President Rabelowski, and I just want to say congratulations on a very well-run meeting. I wish I could be with you all, especially when Bremerton High School was there to celebrate. And thanks to those who turned up for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. It was a lot of fun as usual. And I think I'll close my report for now. I'm still recovering from surgery, but I hope to see you next week.
Thank you, Councilmember Fry. Now we'll hear from District 1, Councilmember Jennifer Chamberlain.
Who is not setting a timer. But I just want to say for the past couple of years, how cool it's been to have so many meetings chaired by women. And this is my first meeting where I've been chaired by a woman. So thank you, Vice President Rabelowski. I have a few slides. I was never at a meeting when you chaired. Never present for it. Okay. I was in Hawaii, remember? It was, okay, here we go. We have a cleanup. I don't know if y'all have heard me brag about this cleanup that happens on a monthly basis, but it's the first time this year. And these cleanups start over at Cafe Perfetto on the corner of Wheaton and Sheridan. And I believe it's the second Saturday of the month every month until October. So I got a chance to go out with folks, and everybody split up into smaller groups and conquered the garbage. And what's really great is this is a county sponsored program. And this group got the Golden Picker Award last year for the work that they did. Tons of garbage picked up, and it's a lot of fun going out with these folks. I'll have another flyer up at the next council meeting to remind y'all when to show up. Then the next slide is me out with a couple of my constituents. We were actually, of course, I went out into my district to clean up. I'm a little partial to my area. We're actually over at one of the trailheads for Stephenson Canyon, but I'm here with a couple of my constituents, Gina and Jason. And I was letting them know about the Stephenson Canyon walk that we were going to have right after the cleanup. And they were disappointed they couldn't make it, but they want to be part of this stewardship group. So making connections there. And then the next slide is our Stephenson Canyon walk. And we had all ability levels, and it was just a really great group of folks who wanted to go out, and they were really ready to start doing some good out there and helping with the English ivy and the other invasive species that are taking over. And so we're looking forward to getting a stewardship group together for Stephenson Canyon. The next meetup is going to be another walk on Earth Day. So that's April 22nd. It's going to be at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday. So we're going to try something different, not a weekend, but a weekday. And I believe that's, I have one more. It was a busy day Saturday. So we were also at a St. Patrick's Day parade. And so we had Denise Fry and Jane Orblowski and Jeff Coughlin there. And Counselor Fry has her grandchildren there. I hope it's okay that I brag about y'all here. I had a lot of fun with you guys and with everybody there. And it was, coincidentally, we were right in front of the champions, the boys basketball team, and the girls, the cheerleaders were on there too. It's not girls cheerleading, it's just cheerleading. They just happen to be mostly girls. It was a great day. I somehow didn't even make it over 8,000 steps. I'm sorry, Mayor. I know we kind of have an unofficial competition, but I lost that day despite all the walking that I did. So thank you. That's all I really have for slides, but I want to just kind of take a moment and honor what a couple folks are saying about our houseless community. Something I've been noticing lately is how we don't have as much of the density of unhoused folks in the city of Bremerton. But what I'm seeing happening is that this density is occurring on the outskirts of the city limits, right on the county limits, near the city limits. And if anybody drives around on the way to, Fred Meyer, for instance, you might see there's quite a surge of tents and carts. And I don't think that's any coincidence. I think that folks are still trying to stay close to the city, and also at the same time, our ordinance is preventing them from being in our city. It's not something that's it's something that's very apparent to me. I wish that we had a different system in place that could support them, and I'm looking forward to our shelter project coming to fruition so we can have a creative way to serve the unhoused population. I don't know where we're at with our Salvation Army numbers. I keep hearing that it's creeping up and up and up. And so I don't know where we're at with that. And Mayor, it looks like the mayor would like to, I'm going to defer to, okay. And that's really all I want to share tonight for my council report. Thank you.
No, thank you for bringing that up, Councilor Chamberlain. And I just did receive an update not long ago. So we were trending into the upper 70s, getting close to our limit. And so with good partnership from Kitsap County and some increased case management down at the shelter, and of course our own common streets who are out there a lot, we're able to transition some folks from the shelter out into the Mile Hill area, which is a more controlled environment. It's more suitable for folks who are higher functioning, and especially families, children. So they are set up for that. And there's a screening that goes with it. And so, but that work's been happening down at our own Salvation Army. So we're down in the 50s now. The numbers are down in the 50s. The challenge that'll be coming up is funding. So the idea was a new shelter would be up and running by now, and with a program in place and operators already selected who are out going and getting the funding. Right now, that's, as much as I do on that. And so now it's a matter of us pulling together, and it's going to have to be the county. We're calling on their leadership. So we've always called on when it comes to big funding support for things like a homeless shelter. I'm reaching out to them already. They are aware. We'll help where we can. Our budgets are tight. We're living, as you know, we're operating on reserves this year and next year, and with no end in sight because we're unsure. Everybody's uncertain with the economy. It's a lot more than you asked for, Counselor. But I thought as long as I'm here, I'll give you the full update and briefing I received. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
And we'll close out with the District 4 council report, and that's my district. And I am thrilled because I live right behind the high school, and there's something going on every day there. The science fair is coming up. I listen to people playing soccer at 7:30 in the morning on Sundays, and the fields are constantly being used. The kids are starting cross country now, so they're running by my house, and it's really pretty wonderful. So I'm really happy to live where I do and to see how well that facility is being used. And then I wanted to also remind everybody that on April 22nd, which is Earth Day, you can get up early in the morning and come join us at the Bremerton Food Line's big breakfast. And it's really such an inspiring event. I went last year. I'm going to be a table captain again this year, and you'll just meet so many people and hear so many inspiring stories about an organization that does so much for our community. And I hope everybody who can attends that breakfast. And that's all for my council report tonight. So I want to give a reminder that the next regular study session will be Wednesday, March 26th, beginning at 5 p.m. on the 6th floor council conference room with a remote option available by Zoom. And this concludes tonight's regular council meeting. Meeting is adjourned.